look, I'm guilty of it
which
too.
is like a little bit like LA, but not really. Like in LA, like, I mean,
We have more
people
people
are
that want to be on
like,
TV here.
yeah, but you also have people that are like, I mean, not Kyle Richards, but you have other people that are like, oh, I would love to meet you for drinks on Friday, but I can't. Like, I'm getting my whole body lifted. Like, it's 71,000 and they have to like cut the belly button out and like pull up the skin. And like, people are just like, they are pretty honest about like, sorry, they are pretty like honest about their lives, like, and all the craziness that they have going on, more or less. Like, like, I don't know. There's a fakeness, but a crazy realness in a lot of ways to LA too, in like its own way.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
There,
You know
and
what
I love the
also
people here too.
I love the
I love
people.
everybody in Washington D.C. I mean, I had such an amazing experience there for 15 years. But there is this element when I can see some of these women, like there's that element of DC a little bit, and they're kind of like that in that it's just deflect and it's somebody else. And
Listen,
but I'm curious, what's your take? Do you think Robyn should be fired? Where do you think the next season goes from here after this?
I'm so torn because part of me is like, this is technically, I mean, you could argue this is a fireable offense, right? Like, this is your job. It is your job. We came to you. We came to you. Unlike the Countess and Tom and Rina and Kathy, like what they have to do on Jersey and Salt Lake, Snooze Fest, and the OC and Potomac, they have to go to these women. They go to these women. They show up at your house and say, what do you have going on in life? We are filming in 3 weeks. Like, we're not sure about the contract. This is what they do. We're, figuring out the contracts. What do you have? What are you going to bring? Give us this one will say, oh, I have a new beverage, and this becomes the storylines. That's all they have. I have a choir. Oh, Heather Gay choir. I have a book, Bad Mormon book, Heather Gay. Whitney still hates me. Okay, fighting with cousin, probably better than the other shit, but let's include it all. I mean, that's what happens. They don't do that in Beverly Hills when you have, Rinna and Kathy, and it makes national, when there's real things in the Countess and, Tom and, this and that. And when there's a lot of shows, Jen Shaw, we're not calling Jen Shaw and asking what's on her agenda for next season, or Erica Jade. We get lucky in a lot of these franchises, but the other ones, they come to your house, they call you, what's on your storyline. So when they ask Robyn, this is the problem I have. What is Robyn's story? Not the group shit. What is your personal story when you're in your house with your people at your business? What are your things? Oh, you have a new wine, you have a new hat. Like, you didn't think to say, listen, I have to talk to you about something. This is pretty big. That's the problem. And the
Oh,
other
because they
problem
don't
is,
want it out there.
right. So that's the problem we have. So that's where it's like, to answer your question, should she be fired based on that? Yeah. And also, so yes, but then to your point, before, the other problem is we didn't have a great season. So that's what makes it even worse. It's not like this could have ended up on the cutting room floor. We had Rinna and Kathy and Sutton, and Darkness with Crystal, and Bots with Garcelle. It's like there was really nothing. Like, you could have almost single-handedly saved this season. The whole thing would be like, Lisa Hochstein is the example. This whole season of Miami has been about Lisa, and everyone else has rallied around her, and there's all strong players. But the whole season could have been something real, something that really is now making headlines. So,
And doesn't it make you wonder?
that's
I
a
mean,
fireable offense to me.
there's obviously something between Juan and Robyn. They do love each other, but there's so much there to me in that relationship. Like, I don't know, that's either dysfunctional or we could relate to, because I don't know, whenever they shoot scenes together, he never seems that into her. I think there's so much more to this story. Again, I think we saw with Ashley Darby, what I did really enjoy about Ashley and Michael's relationship is people have all kinds of different arrangements. Some women don't give a fuck. They want to be like flirting with other guys. They don't care if their man's flirting. Robyn and Juan may have a thing where it's like you can flirt and DM and do whatever, you just can't fuck them. Who knows, right? I mean, I feel like I wish, I want to see so much more. And I just feel like to me now, what it does, and this is where I give Rena credit and Candace a ton of credit, is like, what credibility does Robyn have now moving forward for the next season? It's like Jen Shaw. Why would you believe anything that comes out of Jen? Don't even get me started. I'll do a rant on her next episode. This bullshit. She's trying to defend Coach Shaw about how he didn't know. Jen Shaw and like Robyn now, it's like, where's your credibility? I just think
where's your
that come on and give everything, and Lisa Hochstein, good for her, I mean, share the good, the bad, the ugly. That's, if you don't want to, don't be on the show.
This is Lisa. I mean, it is, Miami has been such a great season, and it's the others are great. They're rallying around her. They have their own storylines, but of course it's all about Lisa this season because this is real. This is really what's going on. I mean, she is getting locked out of her house, being frozen out of the assets, like whoever side you're on. And he said, she's showing it all. So, I mean, that's the real deal. The other thing is like, well, then, right, to play devil's advocate, to your point, I mean, this is the most interesting Robyn has been since she uttered her first fucking word on the damn show. So, but I mean, if you come back, we got to now expose this and the fallout. And yeah, I guess the season could start with like, how could you not have told us this last season? Like all the stuff with like Lisa's divorce that we already know in the media. It'll have to open with that. It will have to start filming right away. And it will have to be like, how could you not? And what do you mean? And no, we're coming into your house, girl, and you're going to sit there in your uncomfortable shit. You're going to shit your pants and you're going to sit there in your uncomfortable shit. And you and Juan, he doesn't want to too fucking bad, bitch, because we're going to take your contract away. You and Juan have to sit there and talk about this. We're going to do this in your house next week after the reunion. We're filming now. And they could craft a whole season around that. Like, oh my God, like they're going to show the reunion, like good luck, have a great summer, have a great winter, whatever. And then do. How could you not have told us? I didn't know this all season. Candace being like, and you came after my husband, bitch. And the Grand Dame being like, someone's closet ain't clean.
Maybe Chris and, Juan have a moment. I don't know. Maybe we get a little Michael Darby back.
Otherwise, fire her.
I think it could go either way. Don't you? I think it could go either way. I do think from just what I'm reading, I feel like Andy is pissed. I don't know, for whatever that means. I mean, I don't think Andy has as much say anymore as everybody thinks. Like, I'm sure it's a group of people now deciding on people's fates, but Andy didn't seem thrilled, and I don't blame him. Our friend Carlos King did a big rant about how disrespectful it is, to other people, and how did he say she should be fired? I can't remember.
I think so. But I'm not sure. But by the way, and that's the thing, like, I think, to be honest with you, I think Candace and Chris are underplaying it, are being nice. Like, they're not, I mean, they're angry and they're sending tweets, but like, I would just be like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? And by the way, it helps the whole show. So Giselle should be mad. Everyone should